I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Joda Zoge Chonamna Chanju Bardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinso Gebe Sonamge Dola Penjir Sanje Jubaresho Sanje Joda Zoge Chonamna Chanju Bardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinso Gebe Sonamge Dola Penjir Sanje Jubaresho Sanje Joda Soge Chonamla Chanju Pardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinso Gebe Sonamge Dola Penjir Sanje Jubaresho. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavathat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavathat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavathat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Okay, Heart Sutra mantra. Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha. Okay, so this morning is the meditation manual on a sample of meditation manual on emptiness. Before this, let me just give an overview of Gade Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhiswaha. So there, we see that this is a journey. This is journey of enlightenment. And this journey is the journey. This is journey from where we are now, samsara, to the ultimate state of happiness, which is Bodhisoha, enlightenment, Buddhahood. And we see that here, this journey has 5 parts. Gati, first gati, again gati, then a paragati, parasamgati, Bodhisoha, 5. These 5, literally it means go beyond, go utterly beyond, and establish your enlightenment. Go beyond, go utterly beyond, and establish your enlightenment. So the first one, go. The first one, go. Go means go from samsara towards Buddhahood. But when we start moving, it is not that you take the first step and then you reach the destination. This is not possible. So the first step of the 5 steps, the first one is known as the path of accumulation. The second gati resembles the path of preparation. The third one, paragati, path of seeing. Parasangati, path of meditation. And then finally, bodhisoha, the path of no more learning. So we need to know, let me just briefly, quickly explain as to why these 5 paths are given the different labels. Why path of accumulation, why preparation, and so forth. And then in actual practice, what marks us to have the first experience, the first part, the second part, and so forth, for just a quick overview. First, the labels as to why these 5 paths are labeled thus. The first one is path of accumulation. We mentioned that to achieve enlightenment, in order to construct the huge, massive project of building, we need the materials. We need to first accumulate materials. Accumulate materials. So, we likewise, for achieving enlightenment, we need to accumulate the materials for enlightenment. And enlightenment, we need to keep in mind, the enlightenment in the form of 2 aspects. Enlightenment in the form of 2 aspects. Okay, what are the 2 aspects of enlightenment? In terms of the Buddhahood. In terms of Buddhahood, the enlightenment can be seen in 2 forms, Dharmakaya and Rupakaya, right? Okay, Dharmakaya, truth body, Rupakaya, form body. And form body is primary form. Form body is the enlightened body, primarily with respect to the benefit yourself or others. For others. Whereas for the Dharmakaya, the truth body, is the form body, the divine body of the Buddha, particularly with respect to the benefit for oneself. Okay, so perfection of the benefit of oneself and perfection of the benefit of others. With these individual person, one individual person, when you become enlightened, you become perfected in the benefit of others and benefit of yourself. So benefit of yourself, that is the Dharmakaya, and benefit of others, this is the Rupakaya, form body, 2. Now because in the resultant states there are 2, we need to see that in the path there should be there should be 2 different paths. One which takes you towards the Rupakaya, one which primarily, this is key word, primarily takes you towards the Buddha, the Rupakaya, and the other which primarily takes you towards the Dharmakaya, right? Now, in the path, what we have is wisdom of emptiness and the Bodhicitta, right? And so look how the wisdom of emptiness and Bodhicitta finally comes in the form of the crux of all the Dharma practice. So, actual path which can potentially take you there is like wisdom of emptiness and Bodhicitta. So these 2, in a proper labeling, in a proper technical labeling, we call it the method and the wisdom. The method and the wisdom. So this method, primarily the Bodhicitta, and then all other paths like compassion, the loving kindness, altruism, all these, generosity, ethical discipline, all these fall under the category of the method. So this method will take you. This method is primarily for what? This method, generosity and so forth, to reach out to sentient beings. So these will ripen you into the form body, Rupakaya. Rupakaya to benefit sentient beings. Right? One. Now the other one is the wisdom of emptiness. Wisdom of emptiness is not, primarily it is not to reach out to other sentient beings. It is to crush the mental defilements. Right? To cleanse yourself. So, to perfect yourself. Wisdom of emptiness, that falls in the category of the wisdom. Wisdom, method and wisdom. So this wisdom will eventually, primarily, of course the wisdom does both the work, but primarily it will take you towards achieving Dharmakaya. So wisdom will take you towards Dharmakaya and the method will take you towards Rupakaya. Right? Now, we see that these are the two results, Dharmakaya and Rupakaya, which we are seeking. So in order to achieve these two things, we need to rely on the wisdom and the method. To have the wisdom and the method, we are at the moment in samsara, in a very basic, we are we are just sucked up in the illusion, sucked up in the dream of ignorance. So in this very basic, very crude, in the reality there must be some basis which will eventually take us towards wisdom and the method. Once you are taken there to wisdom method, and the method will take you towards Rupakaya, and the wisdom will take you towards Dharmakaya, right? So there must be something there within us. So within the reality that we live in, there must be something there which will somehow take you towards method, and something else which will take you towards wisdom. Okay. Now what is there in this samsara? In this samsara there is nothing good there. Right? But although in samsara there is nothing good there, the nature of the samsara is such that the samsara actually exists in the subjective level. Right? So samsara exists or not exists? It does exist. So of the two questions, don't forget, right? Don't forget, there are so many set of two questions, right? Right? Okay. Two questions. One is, does samsara where we live, does it exist? Answer is yes. So this will take us towards conventional truth. Right? So when you say, yes, it does exist because we are suffering. Suffering means we are in samsara. This samsara. So when you say it does exist, it exists on the conventional level. So the first question will gives the answer that we live in the world of conventionality. One. Right? Okay, next. Then, what about ultimate? Samsara, it does exist. How does it exist? Conventionally or ultimately? Conventional. What about ultimately? Ultimately, it does not exist. So, ultimately, samsara does not exist. That is the ultimate truth of the samsara. You're getting it? Ultimate truth of the samsara. Now, when you come to discover these two questions, when you come to get the answers to these two questions, answer to the first question, which is, does samsara exist? Answer is yes. So that is the word. When you say it exists, it is on the conventional level. You say when it exists, you are talking about the conventional truth of samsara. Then when you say it does not exist objectively, how does it exist? Objectively, subjectively. You said subjectively. What about objectively? Objectively, it does not exist. That the samsara is empty objectively. That is the ultimate truth, right? So to see the ultimate truth, this will take us to the wisdom. To see the conventional truth, how samsara operates. Oh, sentient beings are suffering. By seeing the conventional truth, it will take us to the method. Right? So, in the reality that we live in, there are two truths. In the reality which we live in, it is made of two truths, ultimate truth and conventional truth. By understanding the conventional truth, it will take us primarily, it will take us to method. And by understanding the ultimate truth, it will take us to wisdom. And the wisdom will take us to Dharmakaya. And the method will take us to Rupakaya. Okay, in reality, they are the two truths. In the path, there is some wisdom and the method. And in the results, Dharmakaya and Rupakaya. So this is how how we see the hope that we can achieve Dharma Rupakaya because we can have the wisdom and the method. Why? How can we have the wisdom method? Because the reality is structured in such a way that it is consisted of two truths. Having the reality having the two truths make us the possible to achieve the method and the wisdom. And achieving the method and wisdom will take us towards the Dharmakaya and the Rupakaya. That is enlightenment. Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisattva, right? So this is so important. Okay. The reality is made of two truths. On this basis, there's hope for the wisdom and the method to arise. Because of the method and wisdom, Dharmakaya and Rupakaya can arise. And with the Dharmakaya, your benefit is perfectly guaranteed. Your benefit is perfected. And because Rupakaya, benefit of other sentient beings is perfected. So you become the someone who is endowed with the perfection in the benefit for yourself and benefit for other sentient beings. This is known as Buddhahood. This is the ultimate achievement. You're getting it? Okay, this piece is so important. Now with this, say, now this process, how by realizing the two truths, you go to the, you will have the method and wisdom. So this method and wisdom, by practicing these two, then the mental defilements are slowly cleansed in stages, right? So cleansing the mental defilement, the mind of the mental defilements, in the stages is known as Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisattva stages, right? So the first stage is Gate, which is the path of accumulation. So the path of accumulation, when we speak of the path of accumulation, it means that we accumulate the basic materials to achieve Buddhahood. What are the basic materials required to achieve the Buddhahood? Hey, what are the basic requirements to achieve the two kayas, two Buddha forms? Merit and the wisdom, merit and wisdom, right? Okay. So when we say path of accumulation, we have to first gather all the materials to achieve Buddhahood. And from what we know now, on the basis of the two truths that exist in the reality, we can have the method and wisdom. Because of method and wisdom, we can have the two Buddha bodies, right? From this, we come to know that the material for achieving Buddhahood is the method and wisdom. So, during the first part of accumulation is symbolized by Gate. There, our job is primarily to gather the materials for Buddhahood. Primarily to gather method and the wisdom. Method in the form of bodhicitta, compassion, generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, and so forth. These are the method, and the other one is wisdom of emptiness. So this is what we have to gather as much as possible, collect as much as possible. So therefore, accumulate as much as possible. So therefore, this path is known as path of accumulation. Right? Now, after accumulating all these materials, the method and the wisdom, what are you going to do with these materials? For example, say you did not tell your mother what are you going to do with all the materials that you are actually planning to build a Bodhicitta retreat place, right? I don't know where, in Singapore or in Malaysia, I'm not too sure. Okay, so you are thinking of building a Bodhicitta retreat center, right? And you did not tell this to mother, and then suddenly you acquire big land, and then your family already has a big land, and mother just kept it there, and suddenly you started to accumulate all the materials, the cement, the bricks, all these things. Your mother started to wonder, okay, my daughter is accumulating all these materials, and one day asks you, what are you going to do with this? Right? Okay. So there, first the path of accumulation, there the job is primarily to gather the materials on the basis of the basic idea. You should have the basic idea. Right? Without knowing what you're going to construct, or without knowing whether you want to make it a dam, or whether you want to do just make it the crop, the farm, agricultural land, right? Without knowing that, and then bring all the materials is senseless. Bring all the materials. Finally, what do you want to do? I want to make it to plant apples. You don't need all the materials like cement, all these things. So bringing something means you already have some idea. What is that idea? These materials I have to build Buddhahood. may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. This must be the basic criteria, right? Bodhicitta must be the basic criteria for you to get into the path of accumulation. Gate. Bodhicitta must be there. With this bodhicitta, you know what exactly you want to do. I want to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. With this spirit bodhicitta, then your job mainly is to accumulate method and wisdom as much as possible to get the materials for Buddhahood. Now, with this accumulation, so therefore, at this stage, you are known as Bodhisattva in the path of accumulation. Right? What is second? Path of preparation. What is third? Path of seeing. Okay, before we go to path of preparation, let's jump to path of seeing. Okay, now let's see how by these materials that you're gathering, how materials in the form of method and wisdom, how are you going to achieve your goal? How are you going to achieve the goal? Goal is through cleansing the mind, right? To cleanse the mind. Cleanse the mind of what? Mental defilements, right? Mental defilements. Now, cleansing, there are two kinds. For example, say, okay, let's say there are little, some garbage around here, right? In this corner, some corner there, and suddenly His Holiness the Dharma is visiting the Bodhicitta retreat here, and then suddenly surprise visit is already there. Now you have no time to remove all the garbage, right? Say, then the Venla may be very what do you call it? Very smart. He may quickly bring a big cloth and cover the garbage, right? Cover the garbage and put some flowers on there, right? Or it looks a decoration. It looks so nice. Actually, it's garbage, right? So try to remove the garbage, but the garbage was not removed. Actually, it was hidden. It was made non-evident, right? It was made non-evident. Likewise, our mental defilements, when you remove that, there are two ways of removing it. One, by removing it from the root. Other one is subduing it by making it not evident, but suppressing it. Two ways. So this garbage was suppressed by a beautiful cloth and beautiful flowers, right? So the garbage was not visible. Likewise, our mental defilements can be removed, not really removed, can be subdued, or can be made not functional in two ways. One by cutting from the root, and other just simply suppressing it. Right? Okay. So during the first two paths, gate, what are the two paths? Gate, what are the two paths? Path of accumulation and path of preparation. So these two there, only suppressing happens. Mental defilements, they have to be cleansed. They have to be cleansed by cleansing. But the cleansing happens not by cutting the root, by suppressing them, or by superficially making them inactive. By suppressing them, superficially making them inactive. Like superficially making them not visible, the garbage. Right? Okay. So because of which, this mental defilement can manifest any time. Now, how not to make them manifest? How not to make them manifest? By not only suppressing, then you cut from the root, right? So how can you cut the defilements from the root? That is only through actually fighting with the defilements, not just talking nicely to defilements and keep them cool and calm, but we have to fight with them. So what actually counteracts with the defilements, particularly, for example, say the afflictive obscuration, we have to fight with the root. What is the root? Self-grasping ignorance. To fight with the root, what should be the counter? And the root, self-grasping ignorance, how strong is this? If it is 10% strong, then the counter force that we introduce, just introduce 10% and it will remove it. Or 11%. So the defilement, self-grasping ignorance, 10% powerful, and you introduce the wisdom, 11%. So that it will override other and exterminate it. But tell me, do you have the experience of self-grasping ignorance? If you don't have the experience of self-grasping ignorance, Do you have the experience of, say, anger like this? Okay, tell me. So these will tell us how intense the self-grasping ignorance is. The offshoots of the same, how strong the boss is, you know from how strong the subordinates are. If the subordinates are very strong, so efficient, which means the boss is very strong and efficient, right? So self-grasping ignorance is the boss, and all its offshoots. Offshoots like what? Afflictions, attachment, anger, jealousy, competitiveness, fear, anxiety. All these negative emotions. See how intense they are. How intense they are? 10%? Huh? Or what? 20%? Huh? How intense they are. They are so professionally high level. Right? Afflictive emotions, they are so professionally of high level, high quality. High quality and intensity. How? How do you know that? Say, for example, somebody accuses in public, then we'll say, okay, Wenla, should I become angry? You will ask, Wenla, right? Am I allowed to become angry in the Bodhicitta retreat? Or spontaneous? Tell me. Spontaneous is so spontaneous. And what is the intensity? Very small, right? Oh, you made me angry. I'm angry it was you. Then you calm. Or very intense and very spontaneous. Tell me. Very intense as well as very spontaneous, which means professionally 100%. Our afflictions are professionally 100%. High quality, right? High quality and spontaneous, so fast. So the counterforce. What is the counterforce? The wisdom of emptiness, right? Now the wisdom of emptiness, what is the wisdom of emptiness like in our case, right? Hey, meditation Vajra, now sit in a position, right? Right? Okay, imagine yourself meditating. And this person, how does it appear? When you say, how does it appear like this? The negative emotions, so spontaneous, already arose, already gone. Your job is done. And the counterforce is still yet to arise. Counterforce is so weak. And negative emotions, they are so spontaneous, so fast, so intense, high quality. They come, go, finish. The job is done. And the counterforce is still yet to arise. Right? Still we have to ring the bell. Do you have to ring the bell? Ring the bell. Hey, come for the class. Right? Hey, you are not there. What happened? Right? And then, hey, now meditate emptiness. Right? 2 questions. But then when you say 2 questions, the negative emotions, they already arose, finished, left, everything. When are you going to counteract that? It's already left now. Right? So this is how. Now, if you see the quality, intensity, spontaneity of the afflictive emotions, then the counterforce should be likewise very intense and spontaneous. So what should that counterforce be? That is the wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom of emptiness, not like the wisdom of emptiness that is, say, for example, the conceptual experience. It should be the non-dual experience. It should be a very sharp knife. It should be like a very sharp knife. The wisdom of emptiness should be laser beam-like. It should be so sharp. Otherwise, we cannot challenge the afflictive emotions, which are so intense and so spontaneous. So the wisdom of emptiness as well should be so spontaneous and so intense. How to be intense? Like a laser beam, right? Like a laser beam. And so spontaneous that you familiarize in it for a long time. Okay, when do you achieve that? You achieve that when you reach the path of seeing. So, when you have a non-dual wisdom emptiness, right? Then the intensity is there, spontaneity is there. Now tell me, which will override the other? Self-grasping ignorance is also of high quality and spontaneous. And the wisdom of emptiness, when you have the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, is also high quality and spontaneous. So now these two are equally intense, equally spontaneous. Which will override the other? Tell me. So why? What is that thing which is special with the wisdom of emptiness? So these two are equally powerful. So what is there special in the wisdom of emptiness that you think will override the ignorance? Huh? Exactly. So finally, the wisdom of emptiness is grounded on the truth. And self-grasping ignorance is grounded on the false. And the false, there is no actually, it is not there. It is fabrication. Because it is fabricated, the truth is not there. Truth is not the ground for the ignorance, so the ground is very shaky. Whereas for the wisdom of emptiness, the ground is very solid. It is like say there are two okay, let's say there are two wooden locks, both weighing 1,000 kg. Wooden block, right? Square wooden block, two wooden blocks, and both weigh 1,000 kg. Can you lift it? No. Can you move it? No. Okay. Now tell me, say, but one side which is on the right side, this wooden log is not actually the ordinary wooden log. It is connected to the root. The root is underneath the ground. Whereas this is simply a wooden log brought from somewhere else, 1,000 kg. So when you try to move it, equally we cannot move both. Both we cannot move, right? But tell me, which is strong? Which is more strongly grounded? A or the B? A, right? How do we know this? You try to move it. Both you cannot move. They are equally very strong and heavy. When earthquake happens, then this may kill you, right? The one which is just temporarily brought there, this can start moving, but the other will not move because it is rooted there. So because it is rooted on the ground, other one does not root in the ground. It is just superficially put there. Likewise, ignorance, it does not have a root, whereas the wisdom has a root in the truth. Root in truth. Because of this is something which is special with the wisdom. So this made it more strong to counteract the self-grasping ignorance. Okay, now say gate, the first two, path of accumulation, path of preparation. There you don't have the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. Because you don't have the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, right? You cannot counteract the self-grasping ignorance as intensely. So therefore, at the most, what you can do is that self-grasping ignorance you cannot even touch. So, attachment, anger, jealousy. For attachment, we meditate on ugliness, impurities. For anger, we practice love and affection. So these are just temporary measures to subdue, to suppress, not exterminate, to suppress, right? Whereas when you reach the paragate, path of seeing, you see emptiness directly, non-dualistically. So this non-dual wisdom of emptiness is the one which can counteract and uproot the mental defilement. So the actual cleansing starts from which path? Path of seeing, right? Path of seeing. Actual cleansing starts from path of seeing. So therefore, path of seeing becomes very precious, very important. Now, because the path of seeing is so precious, so important, our job is to finally try to get the path of seeing. Our job is try to have the non-dual wisdom, right? Now, initially, path of accumulation, we accumulated the basic requirements, the materials, the method and the wisdom. And then what we do is that once you have enough materials, then your job is to, with these materials, you try to see emptiness non-dualistically. Now, first phase, the second phase is preparing yourself. Preparing yourself. What is the second part? What is the second part? Part of preparation. Part of preparation is with all the materials intact. Now you are preparing yourself to get the actual antidote. Actual antidote to counteract the self-grasping ignorance. Preparing yourself to reach the path of seeing. Why path of seeing so special? Because that is the actual antidote to counteract the self-grasping ignorance. You getting it? So the second part is known as path of preparation. And the third part is known as path of seeing, because there you see emptiness directly, the way your eyes sees things. Okay, what is next? path of meditation. Now, path of seeing is like, for example, say, if one is suffering from tuberculosis, then what should we do? Should we just, okay, you have a little bit of headache, you take paracetamol, then you have a little bit of fever, and then you say, what do you do? Then you sit under the fan to cool you down. Oh, actually, you are suffering from tuberculosis. Okay, all these things like taking paracetamol, being under the fan or AC and so forth to cool the temperature down. So, do they remove your tuberculosis? No. So, what should you do? What should you do? Hey, no experience. Yes, here, Yen. Take the right medication like rifampicin, isoniazid, ethambutol, right? So these are the medicines. These are the medicines because I took these medicines many years ago. Right? Okay. So what I'm saying is we need to have the right medication. What is the right medication to exterminate? Because these things, you take the paracetamol, your fever, your headache, they will go down a little bit. Right? Temporarily you are healed. Again they will come back. Now if you don't want them for good, you have to remove this tuberculosis. How to remove that? By getting the right medication. And for our tuberculosis illness, it's the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. Right? And what is the right medication for that? Non-dual wisdom of emptiness. You're getting it? Okay, so now path of seeing place is very important because you got the right medicine. Now, after getting the right medicine, say for example, so say I'm under the care of Yen. We are all under the care of Yen, who's a nurse, right? And she knows what medicines to give. And then we said, and then she guarantees us that if you take these medicines, ethambutol, isoniazid, and rifampicin, if you take these medicines, don't worry, your illness will go away, right? And then we are so excited. And 22nd of July, 2017. When is that? No, 22nd of July, 2017. Today, right? Today we take the medicine from the Yen gives us the medicines. And she promised what? She promised what? If we take the medicines, you will be healed, guaranteed, right? And then we take the medicines. And then tomorrow, 23rd, we are leaving for Singapore, right? So we take the medicine today. And tomorrow we said, hey, Yen, I'm not cured. You promised that if I take the medicine, I'll be cured. I'm not cured. I've already taken the medicine. You did not say this. You said that if you take the medicines, you'll be cured. I took the medicine yesterday. Then she will say that this medicine is not like a paracetamol. This medicine is what you have to take. Take the dose every day for 6 months, right? Likewise, once you have the non-dual wisdom of emptiness like the medicine, you have to take this dose of the wisdom of emptiness not just once. Take it repeatedly. So repeating this very profound wisdom of emptiness is known as meditation. What is the next path? Path of meditation. Means this non-dual wisdom of emptiness is what you have to meditate over and over again. So that, don't just leave it there. Once you see emptiness directly, then your job is done. No, this is not true. So you have to now, this becomes the medicine. This becomes the true right medication. So this medicine, you have to take over and over and over again. So over and over again of a virtue, attempting a virtue over and over again is known as meditation. Right? So we are into you have to meditate on emptiness, non-dual wisdom emptiness over and over again. That becomes the path of meditation. Okay. Once you take the medicine, this non-dual wisdom emptiness over and over again, what happens? Then the cleansing starts to happen, right? 10 degrees of mental defilement is gone, right? Then 20 degrees of mental defilement is gone. Path of no. Okay, let's say 20 degrees of the mental defilement is gone. Then 30 degrees of the defilement gone. Still you continue to take the dose of the wisdom of emptiness. Then 30 degree, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 100 gone. What happens? Your mind becomes so pure. Right? Mind becomes so pure. Now should you meditate more? Should you meditate more? Hey, mental development is all gone now. Right? Should you meditate more? Huh? Huh? Yes, no? Right? Say, your job is to get this Vajran bell. Let's say, your job is to buy this Vajran bell. Right? Buy the Vajran. This bell in Vajran is very special. Right? And this you will not get anywhere. Your job is to buy this. And you will get it for, say the 10 Sing dollars or 100 Sing dollars. Right? And then you don't have money. So what do? You work so hard. Except for buying this, you don't have to work hard. You're getting everything free. But for this, nobody's going to give free. You have to buy it. For this, you have to work hard. You work hard and you already got 100 Sing dollars. And you buy this. Now you already got it on your table. This is already yours. And still you work hard. You still work hard. You will work hard, not work. Right? Why don't you work? If you don't work, you don't get money. What is your answer? I don't need money now. But earlier you were working so hard. Earlier I want this one, now I got it. Because I got what I want, I don't have to work anymore now. Right? So once you achieve the total enlightenment, the job of the meditation is to remove the defilements. Now the mental defilements are fully removed, right? And your Buddha nature has become the vibrant Buddha. So now, should you have to meditate more? You don't have to meditate anymore. The purpose of meditation is to cleanse the mental defilements. Mental defilements are fully cleansed now. The job is done. So therefore, you don't have to meditate anymore. Therefore, the next path is known as path of no more learning. Right? You have accomplished the final mission. You accomplished a mission. Okay, this path of no more learning. Right? Okay, in the context of the Mahayana practice, that part of no more learning is known as the Buddhahood. Okay, so we are done with this. Now, yes. Okay, yes. What's the temperature?
3, 4, 24 now.
To make it 26. No problem. Just make it 26, 27. If people feel hot, then again we can reduce a little bit. Okay, problem there? Huh? Are you happy here and there? Okay, those of you who are there, if you feel cold, hot, let us know. Orlan, you feel cold? Why then the beautiful shawl on? Okay. Or is it really okay or is it okay? Okay means you have to make it a little higher. Let's say 27. Let's make 27. Sonamla, sorry.
It's not okay, it's really okay.
What is this? No wind now. Lowest.
I'm changing to the lowest fan speed because she says the fan.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Linda Tara's not there? No, the Vinita Tara? Okay. So because what we are doing now is the one Tara should be asking me. So she was yesterday asking and she even left a note, right? Okay, so about the meditation manual, a sample of the meditation manual. Okay, this is so precious. Okay. For the meditation emptiness, precisely what we discussed yesterday. Emptiness can be meditated at any time, any place. You can meditate on emptiness, except when you are driving. Some people, I really, literally, I feel, no, how come they're able to do? It's what? Tremendous enthusiasm, what? Enthusiasm, yeah, this is the perseverance or enthusiasm. They're biking and still text messaging on the mobile. Terrible. Okay, so while driving, don't meditate emptiness, because with the meditation emptiness, your mind can go into a very different plane of reality, and then anything can happen at any time, right? So with driving, you should take care. Biking, driving, right? These things, or you are handling a fire. So fire nowadays is not as in the olden times, before the gas system, before electricity invented. Then you have to work on the wood fuel, right? So it's quite risky. Now, like biking or driving and so forth. So there, no, don't force yourself. Of course, this is so precious, but be very practical, be very realistic. Be very realistic. When driving, don't be over enthusiastic, right? Okay, be very careful. Now, other than that, if you are in MRT, you are lucky. In MRT, you can meditate on emptiness, right? Okay, so you can meditate at any place during any time. That is what we should be doing. Okay, now with this, but if you remember, I was giving the suggestion that the meditation emptiness. Okay, whether you do it or not is up to you, but I'll force. I'll say you do it, but whether you do it or not is not commitment. If you don't do it, then you will feel the fear, and dharma becomes to create fear. Dharma is to remove your fear, not particularly emptiness. It's a fearlessness, and it's creating fear on you now, right? So it shouldn't happen. What I'm saying is that do it. But if you do not do, it's up to you, right? If you want no fear, do it. If you want fear, don't do it. Okay. So for that matter, see if you can dedicate like at least 3 to 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on your availability of time, which means 3 to 5 minutes is permissible. Why not? And even the steps, so easy, right? So easy. So whereas then if you're more serious with like 5 minutes and a little more, then you best would be go through this step, the manual which I'm giving you now. This is going to be a sample. It doesn't mean that this is the way. This is one of the ways. And later on, when you become good at it, when you get some stability with experience emptiness, then you can design your own sample. Right? Okay, for the time being, it will be good to follow this. Okay. So which means that we need to have a meditative session on emptiness. Meditation session on emptiness, exclusively on emptiness, if possible, before you go to bed. And if you have some issues, like, say, for example, you can't sleep because of, say, what I shared with you, someone from the I think one place, the girl sent me an email saying that as I meditated before going to bed, and I just suffered not having sleep. So understand, these exceptions are there. Otherwise, it would be good to meditate. Of course, the morning, watch the moon, that is very important. Then exclusively on emptiness before you go to bed. Like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and if you have more time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, so forth. Okay.
Do we do it when you're lying down or this one?
No.
Huh?
No.
To sit up.
Yeah, sit up. Sit up.
For that, no mic. Please repeat.
Can we do this meditation on emptiness by lying down? You can have sleep and also have a meditation? No. No. If you want to do it, exclusively do the 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes separately with the sitting, and then lie down and do the meditation. That is extra. Why the extra? Because that is not guaranteed. You can easily fall asleep and your mind can be just taken away by self-grasping ignorance. Right? No meditation. Right? Okay, so therefore, don't rely on that part. Rely on the sitting. At the sitting, you do meditation emptiness, even though it may not be as vivid, as clear, still something is happening. When you lie down, because of the body posture, flow of the energy is such that it will suck you into dream. It will suck you into sleep. With the sleep, then when you go to sleep, we are not in our hands. It is in the hands of imprints, pure imprints. They decide what kind of dreams, whether you should have dream, not dream, if dream, what dream. All these things, nothing is in the hand. So at least sitting like this, it is in our hand. Right? So what is in our hand, that we not miss. And then lying down, which is not in our hand, if something good happens, well and good. But if not, still don't rely on that. Right? Okay. Sitting meditation. With this, then when you go to bed, lie down, right? Then try your best that you meditate emptiness while lying down, and then you go into sleep or fall asleep in this spirit of meditating on emptiness, right? Okay, if that becomes a habit, it's very precious. Okay, now that exclusive meditation emptiness, whereas when you are on the, as I said earlier, you can meditate on emptiness anywhere, anytime. Say, for example, you are waiting in on the train station or at the airport, and you have like another 1 hour or 40 minutes. You just sit in the chair and then you meditate. And you may not necessarily follow all these steps which I'm going to share with you now. Right? You can do it in the gist form, the more detailed form, up to the individual. But the last part of the day, before you go to bed, so that meditation, you make it more systematic. Always try to follow one pattern, right? Don't try to, in the meditation emptiness, don't try to be creative. In the meditation Bodhicitta, be as creative. With the emptiness, you must have the factual information. You must have the factual information. You should not be creative. Factual information that you've learned. Otherwise, your emptiness will go haywire. Right? Okay. Now for that purpose, how we start. One of the manuals is, okay, let's turn to page 214, I think. Yes, 214. Okay. Page 214. Okay, so this is the module which I follow, and this is just a sample for everyone. It's a sample, right? So how I do is that as a very auspicious beginning and a very powerful beginning, I cite this stanza, the stanza on page 215. A stanza on page 215. The last stanza, the various delightful flowers blossom, and the sparkling supreme golden above stands so alluring. For none of these is there a creator. They are posited by the power of thought. It is through conceptualization that the world is imputed. Right? So this is how I begin my meditation emptiness. Okay, so this is Upadi Request Sutra. Okay, so I start this stanza because this is the direct words of the Buddha. So this is how we begin. And the Buddha is the one on this earth, who on this earth brought this teaching on emptiness. So therefore we begin with this very auspicious beginning. So at the side stanza. Look now, then from this, right? Initially you can imagine that you go into a garden. Whereas if you are quite familiar with this meditation, then you can directly think of a flower. Because it says, the various delightful flowers blossom. Now we are meditating on the selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomena first. Right? Selflessness of phenomena followed by selflessness of person. Right? Because negative emotions, miseries, they arise through the combination of you as a person interacting with the phenomena. So when you see the emptiness of phenomena, emptiness of the person, then all the negative emotions can subside and the contaminant comments will stop and the misery will stop. So therefore, emptiness of the phenomena and emptiness of the person. Or selflessness of the phenomena, selflessness of the person. So first, this one is for this selflessness of phenomena. So first I do is say with a flower. Say in a very beginner form, say I imagine that I go into a very beautiful garden. And particularly, you can think of a garden which you actually went to, that too very enticing, very beautiful garden. And then you stop by one particular flower which especially attracts you. Stop there, imagine that you stop there and you look at it. And then you see what this flower is like. It's so beautiful. And how? Your mind created that or from the object? 100% from the object. This is how it sees. It's so beautiful. Okay, stay there. Now, from this, then you go into the actual ultimate analysis. So how we do? Okay, then we go into the flower. We go into the flower. Mentally, we go into the flower. Say first you start to see the cells. Before that, if possible, you can make it a little dramatic. Like so you go into it, which was initially so tender, perfection there. You go there closer, then you see the very hairy, the tenderness disappears and becomes very hairy and very repulsive to look at. And then you further go in, you start to see it as very cracky. Yeah, right? Very cracky. Now no more tenderness. You further go in, then these cracks, they are more like the cracks, they are more like the cell membranes. Cell membranes where the two cells join. Two cells join, and then the inside cytoplasm, inside nucleus. Okay. Now you still go into the nucleus, and then you see the chromosomes. And don't forget the one that you watched of the NASA company's document film, into the chromosomes. And the chromosomes particularly, I would say that, say, in terms of the initial beginning, the one with the hand is more powerful. Initial beginning. Then when you actually already go into the cells, then the one with the leaf is more clear. It will give you a greater clarity. So you watch both. They will help us. With the leaf, the chromosomes are so vividly, very repulsive, the brownish snake-like, right? Okay, go to that point, up to that point where you now see the chromosomes so repulsive, and then ask yourself, what are you seeing? Two questions. What are you seeing? I'm seeing the chromosomes. Where is the flower? Flower is empty, right? Flower is empty. Okay, stay there for a while. Okay, now what you do is that page 217. Page 217. Stanza, the last stanza, page 217. That which dependently originates is posited to be empty of independent existence. That being dependently designated, this is the middle way. Okay, this stanza, then I recite this stanza. Okay, so now I'm seeing just the chromosomes and nothing really appearing there as a flower, nothing really. But I didn't touch the flower. The flower is not altered. Object-wise is the same. Object-wise is the same. But now what was so appealing disappeared. What was so appealing disappeared. So where is this flower? It's not there. If it's not there, earlier I saw that flower, so there must be some basis there. Yes. That which dependently originates. The flower which I saw earlier actually came into being by dependent on these very scary chromosomes, cytoplasm, and so forth. Right? That which dependently originates. That referring to the flower, which dependently originates by dependence on the chromosome and so forth, is positively empty. Now when you go to the chromosome level, because chromosomes are the dependee and the flower is the dependent. Right? Now what we see only the dependee, not the dependent. The flower disappears. Why? Because flower is not really there. It's just a dependee. Chromosome, cytoplasm, cell membrane, and so forth. Just these parts. Because of these parts, then subjectively we impute as a flower there. So actually what is there? If there is something there, the chromosomes and these things are there, and the flower is not there. Okay. So because it comes into existence but depends on the chromosomes and so forth, amongst the chromosomes, the flower is empty. Because the flower exists by dependence on the atoms, amongst the atoms, the flower is empty. You got it? Flower and the atoms is easy for us because we did that so many times. Now the chromosomes, you apply the same thing to the chromosomes also. So after saying this stanza, then stay there for a while. Okay. So because now what I'm seeing is the dependees of the flower. So amidst the dependees, what is dependent is not there. Meaning what is imputed is not there. Okay, flower disappears. Besides these objects, the flower is not there. The flower is simply mere perception coming from distance. When you go there, it's just when you go there at the maximum, it's just these chromosomes and so forth. So just keep looking at the chromosomes, then ask yourself what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the chromosomes. Where is the flower? The flower is empty. The flower empty. It's not that your mind is fabricating. It's a fact that you are discovering. Now from the object, the flower is not there. The flower is empty. Right? Stay in this experience and see if you have a tinge of goosebumps, a tinge of fear, a tinge of peace. See if these thoughts are coming to you. Okay. So if these thoughts do come, and particularly the fear, and sometimes peace, tranquility, these things can happen. If these things do happen, you are very fortunate. You are very fortunate. But some people say that the experience of the fear was so intense, so intense that they cannot bear. If that happens, then say because that we know each other, let me know, right? Or you can discuss with your teachers who are available around you. Otherwise, if you don't get anyone, then email me, right? If that is...
Hello. So at that point when you experience fear, because you pause and then you observe your feeling, and when you...
Don't observe the feelings. Don't observe the feelings. Okay. When the feelings arise, automatically you come to know. It's not because your observance. Just observe the emptiness. Right? Don't change your focus. Just observe the emptiness. When the feelings arise, you will automatically come to know about it. And if the fear is so intense, you just feel like stopping the meditation.
So
right?
My question is, we stop the meditation when it's intense, is that right?
So the question is, if the fear is so intense, unbearable, to the extent of you going almost crazy, then stop it. Stop it, right? Stop it. And then give a little break. And then maybe again this evening or tomorrow morning you start. And again the same intensity of the fear comes, then you consult, right? But this is 1 out of million. So don't worry as much. Don't worry as much. And if that does happen, you are the one, you are the very lucky one. Right? Because there's a clash happening between the self-grasping ignorance and the wisdom. The clash is happening. This clash, when the clash is happening, nobody's happy. Right? Fear is there. Both sides are so strong. So the fear is bound to happen. Okay. And in some cases, tranquility, peace, bliss. these things can happen. Okay. So when these things do happen, ignore all these experiences. Don't feel attached to this. Although you are very fortunate, but don't feel attached to this. Simply keep continuing with the meditation emptiness. And whereas, should any of these experiences not arise in you, don't feel sad either. Because we need to refine this. We need to refine the meditation further, and then eventually, once you get the real emptiness, then this experience about anyway. This experience, whether you have this experience, no experience, don't worry. As long as you get emptiness, this is what will cleanse your mind. The fear will not cleanse your mind, and the bliss will not cleanse your mind. Right? These are just the symptoms to tell you that you are getting somewhere. Right? Okay. So with this, then you stay in this experience for a while. Okay, then again you go into the chromosomes. So we have already meditated on emptiness of the flower. Now you go to meditate on the emptiness of the chromosome. If the chromosome which I see now, the flower disappears, but the chromosome is left there, and we get the impression that the chromosome exists objectively. No, even the chromosomes does not exist. Chromosomes do not exist objectively. How? Again you go in the way NASA company did it. You go into, and you see that it is made of numerous molecules, and the molecules are made of numerous atoms. You can go further, stay there for a while. Stay there on the level of the atoms. Now what are you seeing? I'm seeing just the atoms. And where is the chromosome? It disappeared. Earlier when I saw as a chromosome, there was a feeling of repulsion. Now seeing the atoms, there's no repulsion, there is no attachment. Right? Okay, the chromosome disappears. Again recite the same stanza in Tibetan. Tenjin dewar chumbakan dine tomba nyedushe. Tene tawate dini ume lameno. This is Tibetan version. In English, that which dependent originated is positively empty of independent existence. That being materially designated, this is the middle way. This is the stanza. You recite the stanza. Yes, even the chromosome is also imputed on the basis of these parts, the atoms. And then what you're seeing is now the atoms. From the object, if something is there in the object, from the object, if something is there, it should be the atoms and not for sure not the chromosomes, because the chromosome disappeared. Okay, and then my mind is not faking it up. My mind is not fabricating it. It's the fact that I'm discovering it, which means that the chromosome does not exist from the object side. Okay, the atoms, any of these atoms of the chromosome? No. Different from the atoms of the chromosome? No. The chromosome is not one with the atoms, no different from the atoms, right? Where's the chromosome now? It is empty. Stay there for a while. Stay there for a while. Okay, now, practically speaking, for us to stay in this experience, emptiness, non-affirming version, non-affirming negative version of the emptiness, or in other words, emptiness of the chromosome, or the emptiness of the flower. This emptiness in the form of non-affirming negative, for us to remain in this experience is so difficult. It's going to be very fleeting, because we have no experience, the experience, practice of abiding in the experience of a non-affirming negative. For example, say, okay, tell me, what is in my hand? What is in the left hand? Nothing, but you see the hand, right? This is how our mind is addicted. When you say nothing, you get a fleeting experience of the voidness of anything there in my hand. Instantly you see the hand, right? Okay, so the hand is positive phenomena or negative phenomena? Positive. So this is a problem. So therefore, although we say that, okay, abide in the experience of the disappearance, emptiness of the chromosome, or atoms will come to your mind, right? And you are not meditating emptiness. And you think that you're still abiding in this experience. And if you say that, no, now atoms are coming to my mind, then you may think that, oh, he'll become upset, right? But then, oh, the others are sitting so nicely, so they may be into emptiness, so I'm the only one meditating on chromosome, the atoms. Okay, in actuality, practically speaking, to abide in this experience of the emptiness of the chromosome, emptiness of the flower, emptiness of the self, self in the form of non-affirming negative. At the most, it will come to a mind fleeting, just a split of a second, and instantly it will disappear. Because we don't have that experience to abide in the non-affirming negative. You're getting it? Now what we should be doing is that this is what we have to now build. We have already got the object. What's the object? Emptiness of the chromosome. We already got it. But it's so fleeting. It comes and disappears. Like the lightning, right? The very bright light there and instantly disappears. It becomes totally dark. Likewise, we see the emptiness and quickly disappears. We see the atoms. Okay. Now, practically speaking, how should I be able to sustain this experience of emptiness? This is a very practical question. For that, always go for the two questions. Always go for the two questions, right? Always go for two questions. Okay. How many of you know to play flute? No? How many of you know how many know how to play the piano? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Others, what do you know? Tell me. No? Right? Because there are so many things. If I say one by one, it will never come to an end. And you will never say, well, I know this. You will only say, I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know this. What do you know? Anyone else? Yen? Any music? Hey, CLE. What? Quarter. What is that? Like a flute. You all know that. Wow. You all know. How many of you know this? Raise your hand. How many of you don't know this? Raise your hand. Okay, those who don't know that, what do you know then? Huh?
No music background.
Are you sure?
Don't like it. No.
Singing you don't know. Okay, you know how to speak English. Right? Okay. Okay, let's see. Music, speaking, right? Okay. Let's see. Hey, don't angry me. Or don't make me angry. Which is correct? Don't angry me is not correct? Right? Okay, you will never say don't angry me. Right? You're getting it? So, okay. Tell me. Don't make me angry. It should not be don't angry me. And your mind works so fast. I should not be saying don't angry me. I should say don't make. I will not say don't do angry. Don't do angry on me. You will say don't make angry. Don't make me angry. Right? Okay. So, how do you know that I should, and next time I should add make. Don't make angry. Don't make me angry. Instead of don't angry me, or instead of don't do angry me. Right? How do you know that? Have you given thought that I should use the word make, not do, not other words, not don't angry me? Have you given thought to it? Have you given thought to it? It's very spontaneous coming. Spontaneous coming, right? And spontaneously coming. Do not say spontaneous coming. Right? Spontaneously coming. Do you think that spontaneity coming, or spontaneously coming? Spontaneous coming, right? And again, is spontaneously coming, is coming spontaneously, right? So therefore, we see that we never give thought to it. We never give thought to these things. Likewise, so whereas a small child, when learning English, may say that, hey, don't angry me. Right? Small child may say this when first learning English, don't angry me. And say some small children, in fact, English teacher reported this to me maybe 2-3 years ago, said that, what is that word? There's one English word. That's what English word. What is that? Okay, let's say What's the plural form of what is the past tense of play? Played, right? Played. What is the past tense of write? Wrote, not write it. Right? Not write it. So whereas there was one young boy who was learning English for the first time, and then he learned that, past tense of play is played. For a past tense of, in other words, where you add ed. In other words, quickly. Paint. So past tense of paint, painted. Anything else? Wait, waited. Very good. Right? Wait, waited. Play, played. Then, what did we said earlier? Paint, painted. Right? Okay. Then what? Sing, singed. He singed a song. Right? And then, what's the other one I said? He write it, a letter. Right? Do we say this? Or automatically the correct one comes? And how do we know that write it is this coming to our mind? Write it, I shouldn't say this. I should say wrote. How does it come? It's very spontaneous. But when you're first learning English, you have to be very mindful. In fact, I have this experience. Because I was brought up in my Tibetan language. Right? And then English was introduced by everywhere, Tibetan boys, girls, all the time. Surrounded by Tibetan teachers, Tibetan boys, girls. So everywhere Tibetans. So spoken was not really there. And then later on, and then reading books. And still when I speak, I should be mindful, right? I should be very mindful. Okay, what did you eat? What did you eat? Right? Did is past, so therefore I should say ate. Ate is past. What did you eat is wrong. Often, so many times in my younger days, I was just saying like this, right? And then suddenly somebody corrected me. Then that really shook me. And then always I have to be, and I was used to that. What did you eat? What did you plate? What did you wrote? Right? And then now when I should be speaking, I should be speaking with little mindfulness. What did you? The moment I say that, I should be careful. What did you eat? Not ate, right? What did you? So when I speak, I should be mindful. What did you play? Not played. My natural instinct would say that. What did you play? And then I should be mindful. What did you play? Right? Okay. What I'm saying is that in your case, how did it become spontaneous? How? Through practice. Through practice, it can become spontaneous. For us, without much practice, I have to constantly be mindful of this. You're getting it? Okay. Likewise, non-affirming negative. Although we don't have any practice since time immemorial till now, we have to practice it to abide in this experience. How to practice it? What is the meaning of practice? To do it over and over and over and over again. Meditation, right? So we have to repeat it over and over again. That will make you spontaneous. Once you get it, once it becomes spontaneous, then it becomes you can have it anytime you like. You can have it anytime you like. You can have it, however long you want to have it, you will have it. So therefore, you can abide in this experience as long as you want. Once you are habituated with this. Okay, for this matter, what we do is that the moment you get the chromosome dissolves, the two questions. What am I seeing? I'm seeing the atoms. Where is the chromosome? The chromosome disappears, right? Okay, again the atoms will come back. When the atoms come back, again ask the same two questions. What are you seeing? I'm seeing the atoms. I'm not looking for the atoms. But seeing the atoms is like a is like a stepping stone for me. It's like a stepping stone, but from this is not the ultimate way, it's a means. Ultimate that I should be getting is the emptiness of the chromosome, right? Where's the chromosome? It is empty. The moment you say it is empty, a fleeting experience of the emptiness of chromosome has come to you. The moment you say it is empty, right? Fleeting. Now you repeat it.
repeat it over and over again, then the duration, it may be initially like, say, 1/10 of, say, 1/100th of a second. It is empty, it comes and goes, disappears. Now you keep repeating it, keep repeating it, and then it can become like, say, 1/50th of a second. Then slowly, say 1/25th of a second. Then 1/10th of a second. 1/10th of a second is pretty long time. So once you get to this level of the experience, almost like 1/10th of a second, it is a good experience. It's a good progress. Then when you reach to almost that level, then whenever you like to have the emptiness, right, you may not really have to go through all these processes. You can just think of say this bell. Okay, this bell is also empty. You instantly go into the atomic level, and where's the bell? Bell is empty. And then you can abide in this experience, just emptiness of bell itself, without the mixture of the atoms. And then whenever you like to have it, it can come, right? But the duration may not be as long. Now to sustain that duration, to sustain that experience of the emptiness of the flower for a little longer, then you have to keep doing it, keep doing it now with the quality. Because you know the steps already now. After knowing the steps, now you have to emphasize on the quality. The quality, by the more you involve the details of the steps, the quality is bound to be there. More you skip the steps, the quality is going to be not going to be there. It's going to be vague, right? Okay. So this is what we should. Now, when you go to the atoms, even the atoms are made of electrons, protons, neutrons, right? So thus far, we see that we have married an emptiness of the flower, emptiness of the chromosome, now emptiness of the atoms. Okay. When you reach there, the atoms, even the atoms made of electrons, protons, neutrons, so forth. Okay, what are you seeing now? I'm seeing the sub-elementary particles, electrons, protons, so forth. Where's the atom? It disappeared. Okay, again recite this stanza. That which dependent originates is posited to be empty of independent existence. That being mentally designated, this is a middle way. Just recite this stanza, right? By dependence on these sub-elementary particles, atom is mentally, subjectively designated. Objectively, it's not there. Subjectively designated. What is really there, if there's something there, it's just the sub-elementary particles, electrons, protons, neutrons. Atoms is not there. Where's atom? It is empty. It disappears. Just grab that experience for a while. Okay. Then, what you do is go to just the following stanza. Now you have already, you have meditated emptiness 3 times. Emptiness of the phenomena. Right? Not the person, the phenomena. Right? We call it, technically we don't really use the word emptiness of phenomena. We call it selflessness of phenomena. If possible, slowly try to, once you have the proper knowledge, then try to stick to the technical terms, standard technical terms. Don't say emptiness of phenomena, emptiness of person. You say it more selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomenon. These are the technical standard terms used. Okay. Now with this, what we do is that we then read the next 2 stanzas. Since there is no phenomena, just one stanza. Since there is in Tibetan, this is the Tibetan stanza. So in English, since there is no phenomena which is not dependent or originated, so therefore there is no phenomena which is not empty of objective existence. Okay, so this stanza. What you do is that this stanza is more like you are summarizing the emptiness that you meditate, 3 meditation emptiness that you did, you summarize all these things. So now it is saying that now going beyond the electrons, protons, there's no point, because however subtle you may go, you will keep seeing the emptiness of the object. Let's say, for example, from the 2 X-rays, whatever comes out of the X-ray of the ultimate analysis comes out of if you put it again, you will see what will come out. emptiness of that object, that same object will not come out, right? So however infinite times you may do, it will keep coming something, the emptiness of that object, never the same object. So you make the conclusion that since there is no phenomena which is not dependent originated, any phenomena that exists should necessarily be dependent on the parts, dependent on the basis of designation, right? Since everything is dependent and originated, there is no independent existence, there is no objective existence. Since there is no phenomena which is not dependent and originated, therefore there is no phenomena which is not empty of independence, empty of objective existence. So all should be empty of objective existence. Okay, I'll body in 6 minutes for a while. Okay, now from here, then you move to the selflessness of person. Now the selflessness of phenomena for the time being, we are done. Now we go to the selflessness of person, right? For selflessness of person, you, turn to page 218. Page 218. If the person's in Tibetan, Kibu Sami Chumai, Mimi Numi Namgame, Namshi Mimi Gumena, Teleshin and Kibuhan, this is the Tibetan version, you recite this stanza. If the person is not earth, not water, not air, not space, and not all of them, where is the person out of those? Recite this stanza. Recite this stanza. Huh? Which end? What happened? Okay. So you recite this stanza, right? So now you're moving from the substance of phenomena to the substance of person. So for this matter, you use this stanza by Arnigarjuna. If a person is not earth, water, fire, air, space, consciousness, all, where is the person? Where is the person out of those? You say this stanza and you work on these 6 elements. Okay, I have the element of the earth, solid part, the skin, the fatty tissues, the flesh, the muscles, the cartilages, the bones, the heart, lungs, kidney, and all these solid parts. So none of these is me. This forms the element of earth, and the element of earth is not me. Okay, remove that. Next, the element of water. What we have been doing in the mornings. Do the same thing, and then you ask yourself, where's the person? What I'm seeing just the 6 elements. Where's the person? The person disappears. I disappeared. Okay, abide in the experience of the emptiness for a while. Okay, now from there you go to page 217. Go to page 217. Now the rejection of these 7 modes. Rejection of 7 modes. Now again you say this stanza by heart. In Tibetan, Pume Pumbo Leshemin, Tela Pume Tedemen, Dishin Shaba Pundemen, Dishin Shaba Kangshin. This is the Tibetan version. So in English, stanza page 217, third stanza. Neither the aggregates, no different from the aggregates. The aggregates don't depend on him, nor is he dependent on them. The Tathagata doesn't possess the aggregates. What is the Tathagata? Right? And then replace it with your name. So where is this I? Where is this Dorji? Okay. So this we have to go one by one. The 5 steps, 5 rejections, we have to go one by one. And if you want to add the 2, as Ajahn Chandragati did, then you can add 2, right? So first we say, okay, what I'm seeing is just instead of the aggregates, this is also from Aranigarjuna. In fact, seeing the self in the light of the aggregates, seeing the self in the light of 6 elements, both are done by Aranigarjuna. So you can use the same stanza, but we can, instead of the aggregates, we can think of the elements. That will be easier for you. So what we can do is that we think of rejection each point. Let's say neither the aggregates, meaning none of the 6 elements is me, which means the self is not one with its parts. Then number 2, no different from the aggregates, and this self is not different from the elements, because elements are not the self. How? None of the 6 elements is the self. Then I'm a male, I'm a female, then none of the 6 elements is a male, female, there is no gender there, right? So therefore it's not one with the elements. No different from the elements. Remove the elements away, and nothing is left there as a self. It is not different. It is not objectively different from the elements also. Right? Number 2. Then the aggregates don't depend on him, meaning that the self is dependee and the aggregates are dependent. So when you go to the level of the elements, because the self is not there, self disappeared. There's no dependent dependee. To say dependent dependee, there should be 2 things. You remember the example of the 2 sheets which I put like this, which I put like this, 2 sheets, right? 2 papers, sitting like this. This is supporting this is supporting. To say that one is dependent, one is dependent, the 2 should be simultaneously existent, right? Whereas when you go into the element level, into the level of the element, the person disappears, self disappears. Because the self disappears, that the self and the elements, one is dependent, one is dependent. There's no 2 things. Because there's no 2 things, dependent, dependee doesn't make any sense. Let's say the say act of generosity. Act of generosity. In order to speak about the act of generosity, there should be 3 things minimum. One is the benefactor, the who is generous, who engaged in the act of generosity, benefactor. Then the beneficiary, the person who receives the benefit, who receives the generosity. And then the act of generosity, the action. Without the action of generosity, you are not a benefactor and the other person is not the beneficiary. And even if you go to give something, but if there's no one who receives your gift, right, then the act of generosity makes no sense. And because the act of generosity is not there, you are not the actor, you are not the agent, you are not the benefactor, right? Even if the beneficiary is there, even if the act is there, but if the actor is not there, if the benefactor is not there, then the act of benefiting makes no sense. Without this, the person as a beneficiary makes no sense. So these 3 is not dependent in a linear form. These 3 are not dependent on the linear form. They are mutually dependent. There's the mutuality of dependence, right? The benefactor depends on the act of the beneficiary and the act of benefiting. And the act of benefiting depends on the benefactor and the beneficiary both. And the beneficiary also depends on the benefactor and the act of benefiting. So all these 3 are circular, mutually dependent on each other, right? Okay. So with this, to say that if one is missing, then the dependency stops. Without the dependency, then one cannot be the benefactor, one cannot be the beneficiary, one cannot be the act. So likewise, dependent and dependent. Only if the dependent is there, dependent makes no sense. Only if the dependee is there, dependent makes sense. Again, there's a mutuality of dependence. Whereas in the case of when you go into the 6 elements, on the level 6 elements, one side disappears. So therefore, dependent and dependee, the 2 things are not there. Only one thing is there. So with one thing, you cannot speak about dependent and dependee, right? So aggregates don't depend on him. That's true, because there is no him left there. There is no her left there, and no is he dependent. No is she dependent on them. He or she, because he or she is not there, how can he or she depend on these aggregates, right? And then finally, the Tathagata does not possess the aggregates. She does not possess the aggregates because she does not exist there. She disappeared. She is empty. In that experience, she is empty. So because she is empty, she is not there to possess the aggregates or possess the elements. Okay, what is the Tathagata? What is Dorji? Right? Okay, and then you say, where is Dorji? Is empty, it disappears. Stay in this experience for a while. It's very powerful, right? And then if possible, what you do is that you don't try to split the 6 elements. One element of earth in this direction, element of water, you take it away and put it somewhere else. Element of air, you put it in the end. Don't do it. Put them all where you are now. Don't even touch, right? Simply mentally see to the 6 elements separately. See to 6 elements separately. And then it is like the 6 people together, put together. There's no one common figure which pervades all the 6 people. There's no one common unit which pervades all the 6 people. Likewise, you come to know that these 6 elements, they are put if you find it difficult, initially you can split them separately. Initially, split them separately, and then it becomes very obvious. Where's the person? It's not really there. It becomes very obvious. Then slowly, right? Slowly. Whereas initially, if you put everything together, you can really see the person. You can really see the person. Initially, you split them separately, and then the person disappears. It becomes so obvious that the person is not there. Then abundance experience. Where's the person? Person is empty. Abundance experience. Okay. Now, whereas when you become little experienced with this, then slowly move to the next phase, which is don't split them. Keep them right there. Just as they are split, it's just the same. I just put them closer. When split, there's no one unit which pervades all the six, which controls all the six. If that is the case, if I put them a little closer, right? Say if they are split 1 meter apart, each of them, obviously there's no one entity which governs all the six elements. Then if we bring them 1 inch closer, is there one unit which pervades? Same, it's a matter of distance. With this common sense, you bring closer. You see, it's only this continuously, as always, it's going to be just the six elements and nothing there as an additional entity which pervades all the six as a person. No. And then put them together the way it is with us. Still we will see that there's no one person which pervades also. It's just the six elements. Where's this person? This person is really empty. It's literally empty. It's not really there. Then abundance. So that experience, if you're able to see the person disappearing, person emptiness of person, while by visualizing, by seeing all the six elements intact, together, mixed together, in that experience, if you see the emptiness of person, that is so more intensely powerful than when you see the emptiness of person, when you split them separately, right? Okay. So, you would do this, and then after this, then you go into just as we did with this one, the flower, the chromosomes, the atoms, like this, we go to now the person dissolves. I mean, now you got the emptiness of the person. Then you go into the elements, a single element. For the element, you recite the next stanza. Again, some people may think that, okay, although the person disappears, but the elements are left. Now Aranigarjuna employs the second stanza, the third stanza from page 218, which says, just as a person is not truly existent, right? Up to this point, we realize that the person is empty. Just as a person is not truly existent, because of being an aggregation of the six constituents, so each constituent also is not truly existent as they are aggregations of their own constituents. So let's see that the person disappears, the person is empty, but the elements are there, solid element. From the element, you just precisely pick up one part. For example, say like heart or a bone. You pick up one part, an element of earth, or element of water, or whatever, whichever is more convenient for you. In my case, I pick up, for example, say, mostly the bone, and sometimes I pick up the heart. Because heart, when you take it out, it still continues to, pump, right? Bup, 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 like this. Even though it is separated, still it pumps, right? It still pumps. So therefore, it seems to be so living there, and to see that each of the atoms is not the heart, right? Atoms is totally inanimate, but heart is so animate. It has this, some kind of life there. So, but in actuality, this is what our mind is creating an illusion. In actuality, all these atoms are there. None of the atoms are heart. None of the atoms are pumping, right? And there's a movement happening because of the air, the energy there. Because of this energy, the movement is happening, right? And none of the atom inside is pumping anything there. Okay, so with this we go into the heart or the bone, whatever, and do the same thing. So every time you come to the conclusions of the emptiness, you recite this stanza, which says, page 217. This stanza you will have to recite so often, and this will help us implant the seed of wisdom of emptiness as deeply and as numerous. That which dependent, last stanza, that which dependent originates is posited to be empty of independent existence. That being dependent designated, this is the middle way. Okay, you go to the what? The element. And then element meaning, but if you pick up the bone, then the emptiness of the bone, the skeleton. Then emptiness of skeleton, what do you see? Then you see the bone cells. Yeah, then you pick up one bone cell. And again you go into the atoms. You see the emptiness of the bone cell. Then you go to the atom, you see the emptiness of the atom. Same procedure as we did for the flower, right? Same procedure. So after this, then for the self, I do like 4 times of emptiness. Emptiness of the self, emptiness of the bone, or then emptiness of the what? Bone cell, then emptiness of the atom. 4 times. After 4 times, then I make the conclusion. The last line of page 217, which we did earlier, which says, since there is no phenomenon that is not dependent originated, therefore there is no phenomenon which is not empty. Meaning that since there is no phenomenon which is everything now I pick up, they are somehow dependent on their parts. I can pick up nothing. They exist nothing which does not depend on its parts. Everything depends on parts. Everything depends on something else. Because they are dependent on something else, they are not independently real. They are not objectively real. They are empty. Okay. So this is what we conclude. Once you conclude with this, then what I go to I go to page 221, Shiri Heruka, right? I go to page 22. So with this, we finish with the selflessness of phenomena, selflessness of person, 2 finished. After finishing this, now more like the summation. For the summation, one of the summations is Shiri Heruka on this translation. So with folded hands, right? Then I say this, the sacred name of Shri Heruka 3 times. Shri Heruka, Shri Heruka, Shri Heruka, right? And then I recite this and these words in Tibetan, not in English. In Tibetan, Shri Heruka, Shri Heruka, Shri Heruka, Shri Heruka. He ne kunga juna su gyuwa sem te. In Tibetan, he ne kunga juna, he, the first one. He ne kunga juna su gyuwa sem te. Gyu tanyu to tabar chaba, tomba chuki tame ba tang, the first one. Ru ne khansa ke dadu zime, namdo ke tawe kube dada zime, khansa ke tame ba tang. Ka ne te kona ni yu zi, nyi su me dume, susu nyi su me ne ba tang. Then Shiri ni yu tomba ni shizawa, deshi no jesu shubi, nyi su me be, ishi ni evam gi tono, evam. Right? So this is Tibetan version. So I say this, and after saying this, then I meditate on the emptiness first, the he, emptiness of the mind, emptiness of phenomena, selflessness of phenomena, how all phenomena somehow they are imputed by a mind. Finally, the mind is the one which creates all the other phenomena. So this mind is also empty, because this mind is made of many temporal segments. So the overall mind it disappears when you go into the temporal segments. It disappears. Then you go into the temporal segments and then ask yourself, where is this mind? This mind is empty, disappears. Okay, this is the meaning of hey. Then I go to the self. With the self, I already meditated. We already meditated on emptiness of the self before. So I quickly retrieve that experience. If now this object, the phenomena with which I interact in the form of the mind, that dissolves. The phenomena dissolves. All the phenomena dissolves the mind. Mind also dissolves the emptiness. Now the phenomena with which I interact, they all dissolve. Now the subject, I, the person. Even this person, just the 6 elements. Amidst the 6 elements, the person also dissolves. The subject dissolves. Object dissolves. The subject dissolves. Now, Shri He Ru Ka. Ka is the non-duality. Now we see that the object dissolves, subject dissolves. So there is the duality dissolves. It becomes non-dual. There is the Ka. So with this, then Shri. Shri, then who realizes this Ka? Who realizes non-duality? It is my own wisdom. It is my own non-dual wisdom. This non-dual wisdom understands this, sees this non-duality of the subject object. So what about this non-dual wisdom? Even that is in congruence with the non-duality of the subject object, meaning that even this mind which sees this very subtle emptiness of subject object non-duality, even this mind that is also congruence, meaning it is in line with the non-duality. It is also empty of object. Again, this mind are split into segments. Even this non-dual wisdom is in segment. And where is this non-dual wisdom? None of this segment is the non-dual system, the overall non-dual system. Where is the overall non-dual system? It dissolves. So that is the meaning of the evam, the final understanding. So abiding, so where everything dissolves, subject, object, non-duality, then the wisdom which you understand, even that dissolves. So it takes you to become in a very subtle form of understanding. Your mind becomes, same, object dissolves, mind becomes subtler. Then the subject dissolves, mind becomes subtler. Then you see the non-duality, it becomes even subtler. Then you see the non-dual wisdom which sees it, even that dissolves, even subtler. So the mind becomes subtler. This is very precious. Okay. So stay there. Then with this, then I go to this stanza. Okay, His Holiness 14th Dalai stanza, page 219. Page 219. Okay. The last two stanzas. Venerable with folded hands, Venerable Marbalo Tsawa, Shebe Dorji, and so on, the host of the precious Kagyu, the source of blessings, the chain of unexcelled masters of this outstanding tradition, to you all I pray. May the Buddha Dhamma land of snows blaze forevermore. All phenomena. So the first stanza is to invoke blessings from all the lineage gurus. And then after invoking the blessings of all lineage gurus for you, for that you be inspired, that you be blessed to have the experience of the emptiness, the Mahamudra experience, then the actual experience is all phenomena encompassing samsara and nirvana are but the radiance of spontaneous awareness. So this is something which we already did, the kind which we already did with the Shri Heruka part. So it says that all phenomena encompassing samsara and nirvana are but the radiance of spontaneous awareness. Everything that you see in samsara and nirvana, they are nothing, but they are like all coming from your mind. Like everything good and bad in the dream, they all come from everything good and bad in the dream, they come from the dreaming mind, right? Likewise, everything good and bad, samsara, nirvana, what I see, what I experience, they all come from my own mind. Is nothing but the radiance of my own awareness. Awareness meaning my own mind. Now what about this awareness? So it seems like everything dissolves to the awareness of the mind, and the mind is so solid. So then it says, awareness itself, devoid of elaboration. This awareness, this mind, which is source of everything, even this mind, it also exists in the form of the temporal segments. And within the temporal segments, we see that even this awareness, the overall awareness, which is source of all phenomena, even this awareness disappears, is empty when we go into the temporal segments of this mind. So where is this overall mind, which is source of all the phenomena, is also empty, it dissolves. So now what happens? Everything dissolves, because everything dissolves into the awareness, and the awareness also dissolves. Then what is left? Nothing is left there. Where? Ultimately, conventionally. Conventionally, everything is operating, right? Even if you say that nothing is there now, still the traffic, everything will continue, right? Okay. So the awareness itself, devoid of elaborations, is realized in the nature of Dharmakaya. This experience, with respect to you, everything dissolves. That experience, with respect to you, in the ultimate, everything dissolves. That is the real Dharmakaya. So this Dharmakaya has been existing within you since time immemorial till now. We have not discovered it yet. Now when you discover that, this is the Dharmakaya. And then with this Dharmakaya, abiding this Dharmakaya, all your mental defilements will disappear. Then you will remain in this, you can remain in this Dharmakaya forever long. At that point you have achieved Buddhahood. So it says, pervading this experience of Dharmakaya, it pervades all existences and appearances of samsara and nirvana. This is one which pervades all phenomena, right? Okay, so imagine you are the one who is now experiencing in this Dharmakaya, where all the phenomena you realize they're all coming from your own mind. Everything dissolves into your mind, and your mind dissolves into emptiness, right? And then what is left with respect to you? What is left now? Nothing. You just abide in this experience. Nothing meaning not nothing conventionally. Nothing, because you are in the ultimate domain. Because you are in the You are employing what? Ultimate analysis. With respect to ultimate analysis, nothing exists. You are getting it? You are embodying this experience. Now you are embodying this experience. Now say, and then you are absorbed in this experience for so profoundly, and then 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, still you sit in this experience, and everybody left for Singapore, still you are in this hall meditating, right? Now tell me, with respect to you, you who? The one who is with the ultimate analysis, with respect to you, what are you seeing? Everything dissolves. You're getting it? What about, with respect to you, what about the Singapore traffic? They all dissolve. With respect to you. But with respect to me, Singapore traffic is still busy. With respect to others, Singapore traffic is still busy. Right? Now, it's just simply whether Singapore traffic exists or not exists, it should be with respect to a frame of reference. With respect to whom? Right? Independent of frame of reference, there is no traffic group that the Singapore traffic there. With respect to people who are into the conventional analysis, the traffic operates. With respect to someone in the ultimate analysis, traffic stops. Right? Okay, this is what we have to understand. Now, then what about the reality? Tell me. Okay, you cannot say anything because you are in the ultimate and the non-dual experience, right? So we all left and you are still there in this hall, in the ultimate analysis, and you are seeing the final emptiness. Okay. Now, others who left, they are into the conventional analysis, right? Okay. Now, what about the Singapore traffic? Does it exist or not? You say that with respect to those in the conventional analysis, Singapore traffic exists. With respect to the one who is in the ultimate analysis, Singapore traffic doesn't exist. You getting it? Oh, so what did I mention? I mentioned with respect to this, with respect to that. Now, without respect to this or that, what really is the traffic, the Singapore traffic? Does it exist or not? What is really there? Okay, the answer is no. Answer is no. Because things exist only with respect to one of these two analyses. Conventional analysis or ultimate analysis. Independent of these two analyses, nothing is really there. Independent of these two analyses, if something is there, that is objective existence. Right? After 11 days, Bodhicitta retreat, finally you say, independent of these two, what is really there? It's not there. No, it is there, which means who is Ram? Right? Okay, don't say this. Okay, be daring to say that independent of the ultimate analysis and the what? Conventional analysis. What is really there? What is really there as the entity of the Singapore traffic? It doesn't exist. Independent of these two things, it doesn't exist. You're getting it? Independent of the children, parents make no sense. Independent of the parents, the children make no sense. Independent of the benefactor, beneficiary makes no sense. You're getting it? This is what we have to learn. When I speak about he's the benefactor, right? He's the benefactor. We get a very solid the perception or impression of the person to be a benefactor, independent of the beneficiary and the act of benefiting, right? And so like the person doesn't have to engage in any act of generosity and still the person becomes the benefactor. This is non-existent. Independent of the act of benefiting and the beneficiary, benefactor makes no sense. Benefactor does not exist. Likewise, independent of the conventional analysis and the ultimate analysis, nothing really exists there. Singapore traffic, nothing really exists. And yet we think that, Singapore traffic continues to operate. Continues to operate with respect to what? Conventional analysis, right? If you're able to get this feeling that independent of these two analyses, nothing is there. If you really get this feeling, you will no doubt have a very profound goosebumps on your body, right? Amazing experience. This is so precious. Okay. So now what we do is that after this, right? After this, I think very serious about the hay, Ru, Ka, Shri. Okay. Once we're done with this, then we go through this His Holiness's thing. Okay, yes, we're doing that His Holiness thing. The first invoking the blessings of the gurus, the lineage gurus of Jesu Marpa, Jesu Milla, and all the lineage gurus of the Kagyu tradition. And then finally, you say the verses. In Tibetan, it is Dagyur Mabasheva, Dojoso Chilab Junako, Yunubusu, Sumerimji, Consumejo, Gedin, Bagurchi. Kordejugun, Hengesim Getan, Simi to the Shugumoto, Nancy Korda, Kunjab Chagachi, Kanju Gedin, Barguji. This is the Tibetan version, right? So you recite the two stanzas and you meditate on the second stanza. The first one is to invoke blessings from the gurus. Then the second stanza says, all phenomena encompassing samsara and nirvana are but the radiance of the spontaneous awareness. Everything dissolves into your mind, awareness. And this awareness, emptiness, this awareness, the mind, that dissolves into the emptiness. By what? How? How does it dissolve into emptiness? Because this awareness, the totality of awareness, overall awareness, right? The overall awareness is just nothing but made of the temporal segments of the awareness. And within the temporal segments of awareness, the overall awareness disappears. Okay, you do that meditation and then try to abide in this experience. Okay, in abide in this experience, it says, pervading all existences and appearances. Okay, say you are in this meditation, into this, where everything dissolves into your mind, and your mind dissolves in emptiness, and you are in this. You are into the what? Ultimate analysis. With respect to you, everything stops. Everything becomes. You are just into the vast expanse of emptiness. And for others, you are in conventional analysis, right? So tell me, say. Okay, let's say. Tell me. Now say you are the one who is into ultimate analysis, deep into, and then what happens? Conventionally, because of this experience, because of your experience of the ultimate analysis, because of the experience of emptiness, what is constantly, the self-grasping ignorance is constantly being consumed with respect to those in the conventional analysis. From their point of view, they are seeing that change is happening in you. But from your point of view, even the change is non-existent. But from those outside, from their point of view, transformation taking place in you. Transformation is taking place in you. Oh, earlier the degree of the self-grasping ignorance is, say, 40%. Now it is dropping down. Okay, 38%. Okay, now 32%. 30% dropping down. As you keep meditating on this, the self-grasping ignorance, degree of the self-grasping ignorance continues to drop down. And your emotional, say, agitation, so forth, they also drop down. The tendencies drop down, right? And then, say, when it reaches 10 degree, then you wake up from the meditation. For example, say, when you come out of meditation, oh, what happened? Everyone is gone. Oh, I think it's just 2 minutes. Then you look at the date, everything is already, say, 1 day gone. Right? And then you pack up and go to Singapore and go to others. Okay, right? And other will see a transformation in you. And you say, yes, and now I could see that my self-grasping ignorance has gone to 10 degree. Right? So in the meditation, you don't see that. Because in the meditation, you are in ultimate analysis. Coming out of meditation, you are in the conventional analysis. From this, you will see yourself the way other people see you. Because you and other people, they are in the same wavelength, the conventional analysis. Okay, so with this, it says that now look, you are in this, say, or let's say Jackie is in that experience, of non-dual experience, right? Experience, and we are in the conventional analysis. Now we will pick up the flower and we ask Jackie, right? Hey Jackie, what do you see there? Empty, right? And we ask her, what is this? What is your answer? Flower. So the same thing which Jackie is seeing as emptiness is what we are seeing as flower. So what Jackie is seeing as emptiness is what pervades all other phenomena, right? Right? So it says here, pervading all existences and appearances of samsara and nirvana. This experience of emptiness pervades all existences, all samsara, all nirvana. And this experience of the emptiness pervading all phenomena is the great Mahamudra. May the Buddha Dharma of the land of snows please forevermore. Okay, you say this. Then from this, now we are concluding. From this, when I go to Samadhi Raja Sutra. Where is it? Samadhi Raja Sutra. Where is it? Okay, page 217. The first stanza, Samadhi Raja Sutra. So then it's more like a conclusion. If that is the case, then how do we behave when you come out of the meditation? How do we behave? Then I recite the stanza in Tibetan is Shidar Pumu Shunimelamna Pubo Chunshi Shiwa Tedona Junekashi Shinemegada Chunam Tamje Dishin Shebarcha. This is the Tibetan version. In English, just as in the dream of a girl, she met with a boy and saw his death. Joyous was she at the meeting and despair over his death. View all phenomena as thus. Right? Okay, so here how I think is that I imagine myself as a young girl in a dream, meeting with a boy, so much of excitement, then seeing the death of the boy, so much of the despair and the anxiety and sadness, gloominess, and then you imagine that your mother wakes you up. Wow, I'm so lucky that meeting with the boy is illusion, and seeing the death of the boy is also illusion. It's just, I'm totally freed of the anxiety of this episode, right? Totally free. Likewise, all phenomena, they are like illusion, how they are like dreams. When you see emptiness, it's like just waking up from this dream of the nightmare and you feel free. Okay, so this is what I do. Then after this, go to the 7th Dalai Lama stanza. Where is it? Okay, page 219. Page 219. Okay. Page 219, there's one stanza there, and another stanza which is not here, but in this book it is there. Right? First we'll do this. So now you see that again to make it more, the realistic. That now in your day-to-day life, when you are out of the meditation, how should we behave? So imagine that when you are in the meditation, when you're out of meditation, then all your 6 senses become so active. They are like the 6 roads. When the 6 roads, very busy 6 roads, you are at the crossroad, then you see lots and lots of cars, different cars, and different people, and different things there, right? Okay, so the 6 senses, they are like the 6 roads, and you are just in the middle of the 6 roads, crossroad. And then at that point, when you see, hear, smell, touch, then think, all these objects which come under the purview of these senses, they are nothing but like a magical show, right? They don't have any basis from the object. They're all coming from our own mind, but we see them as from the object. This is illusory. This is a hazy, dualistic illusion. With this awareness, don't trust them. Don't trust these views as objectively real. See them as illusion. Okay. At the crossroads of the 6 collections of consciousness, that have diverse perceptions, are seen hazy dualistic phenomena which are baseless. There is a magical show that is by nature deceptive. Don't believe it to be true, but view it as having the nature of emptiness. Don't let your mind go astray, but place in the nature of appearance emptiness. Through not losing mindfulness, hold in the nature of appearance emptiness. Okay, there. And then that stanza is missing here, but in this book it is there. Can you go to the did you notice that 7 Dalai Lama's composition? There's one whole composition. The rain shower of feet. Where is it? Rain shower of feet. Where is it? Rain shower of feet. Page 191. Page 191. What we have now, which we read, is just a collection. The full version of the text by the 7 Dalai Lamas here, page 191. Rain shower of feet. Okay, rain shower of feet, and then we have to go to page 192. The stanza which I picked up is page 192. 192. The last point 4, which is the sphere. Okay. Stanza 4, page 192. What it says here is that now, seeing that, okay, phenomena is empty, person is empty, all phenomena are empty. So, and even the wisdom of emptiness, non-dual wisdom, even that is also empty, right? Okay, now Wherever you look at, you see just the emptiness, not the nothingness. This distinction is required, not the nothingness, emptiness. Nothingness is what? Seeing nothing in the conventional domain. Seeing nothing in the conventional domain is nothingness. That is nihilism. Difference between nihilism and emptiness. Nihilism is seeing nothing existing on the conventional domain. Whereas emptiness, seeing nothing existing on the ultimate domain. This is the difference. Very important. Seeing nothing existing in the conventional domain is nihilism. Seeing nothing existing on the ultimate domain is emptiness, not nothingness. Right? This distinction you must make. Okay, with this, now you see that in the ultimate domain, nothing really exists. Wherever you look at, even your mind, you, others, everywhere, samsara, nirvana, in the ultimate domain, nothing really exists. Okay, so this is the vast experience of emptiness. This is not nothingness, because you are in the ultimate analysis, not in the conventional analysis. So then you just try to abide in this experience. Because this experience is possible, then the counterpart is in the conventional domain. In the conventional domain, when you go into conventional domain or conventional analysis, we come to see that everything, nothing is really there from the object, everything is coming from the subject. Now, then you see everything is like illusion, right? Okay, so it says, the sphere of appearing and existing phenomena is pervaded by the space of the ultimate clear light of suchness. Wherever you look at, we see the ultimate, the clear light of the suchness. Ultimate clear light of suchness means emptiness. Emptiness. There is an infallible ultimate reality. This is the infallible, which cannot be expressed in words. This is the infallible ultimate reality. View this nature of emptiness through abandoning mental contrivances. Don't contrive, don't exaggerate, don't contrive, don't fabricate, right? Just abandon all the mental contrivances. Mental contrivance means mentally you create. Okay, let's say, okay, what is in my hand? There's a flower. Imagine there's no there is no flower in my hand. Imagine, this is contriving, right? Or in my left hand, is there flower? Is there flower? No. So, absence of the flower is not what your mind is contriving, it's a fact. In my right hand, is there flower? Yes. Imagine there's no flower. Can you imagine? Now, there's no flower in my hand. This is your mental contrivance. This is what your mind is creating. It's not actually, it does not tally with the reality. So, this emptiness which one is experiencing now should not be contrived by your mind. It should be the fact that you should be discovering. Right? View this nature of emptiness through abandoning mental contrivances. Don't let your mind go astray, but place it in the ambience of reality, ambience of the ultimate reality. Don't let your mind go astray, but place in the ambience of reality. Through not losing mindfulness, hold it in the ambience of reality. Okay, stay in this experience for a while. I'm experiencing the very pervasive emptiness, which is also known as the Mahamudra, right? Okay. Okay, with this then finish, right? And then you dedicate your merits, and finish. Okay, okay. Okay, so I don't know what that is. What is that convention? I don't know. When I used to, 11, okay, 11:45. Okay, let's say, or let's say 12. Okay, let's come at 12 and we'll do another like 40 minutes. Yep. Okay, 3 prostrations.